Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a chill draw with me. Yeah, the rig is not good. Uh, it's kind of a janky tripod setup. So anyway, I've got two pens today and two inks. Here we got the Colorverse Hippocamp. It's a really pretty blue. This is what I use for writing in my notebook. And this is a new ink that I got. It's a Noodlers Black Swan in Australian Roses. Yeah, it's such a pretty color. And so then I have the blue in this. It's a Lamy Safari. See, I'm getting ink everywhere. And this one really stains, okay? This pink really stains. Let's pretend that didn't happen. And then I got the Rapidograph, the classic. So, the vibe for today, I don't know, I'm just gonna start drawing. We're just gonna see. And I have some conversation topics for once, actually, so lots to talk about. So one thing, when I'm drawing, I mean, it's good to draw in, kind of silence, I would say, like, to focus, really get into the meditative aspect of it. But sometimes I like to watch people talk and listen to them talk because it just gives me ideas, right? And then when you're watching people talk, you can draw their face and draw their mouth in motion, and I find that's really good for doing character studies and that sort of thing, or technical difficulties. I just refilled the ink in this, so just give her a moment, okay? We're gonna come back to this. So I wish it was more socially acceptable to just have people talk at you while you draw, because I feel like it's kind of awkward. I mean, I'm sure people would say yes to it if I actually asked them. But I feel like it's just like a weird thing to ask. Is like, can you just talk at me while I draw you? Because it's kind of hard to focus on drawing and talking at the same time. Like, it's kind of hard to have a conversation back. But it's kind of nice just having some like background noise, I guess. But I don't know. I think that's kind of like with podcasts. I think listening to podcasts all the time is not great. So I feel like maybe this is not a great habit to build up of like always needing to have someone talk, like drowning out your own thoughts. Like, this is really a mess. This is really way more chaotic than I wanted it to be. But I don't feel like setting it up again and putting a whole new sheet of paper and all that. So some of the conversation topics I want to talk about. Establishing a creative practice. Because I feel like this is something I did kind of recently, and I think that a lot of people that I know have not quite gotten to this point. Like, people who are kind of in my age range / like stage of life. Like, you've been out of school for a few years and you don't really have that structure, and you kind of want to be an independent artist, but you don't really know where to start. And you're working part-time, and you come home from your job and you just watch TV or play some video games, and you're like, oh, I wish I could do something. I wish I could be an artist, but you don't really know where to start. And I think a lot of people think, oh, you need like a project. So they're like working on their magnum opus, but then they get really frustrated at themselves because they're not really putting in the hours that you need to, and they're not really like working on their craft that much because they're really so focused on like, I need this project to get me out there, right? So I would say like my focus recently has been building a creative practice. So like not worrying too much about a specific work like that's going to launch my career or anything, but just making sure I'm doing several hours a day of like drawing, researching, a little bit of writing, some reading, that sort of thing. And I just think that, I mean, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's paid off for me yet, but I just think that's a healthier way to go about it than the way I see a lot of people trying to do. And like, if you're watching this and you don't have a creative practice and you're looking into building one, I would say like go easy on yourself and start small. But it's honestly pretty easy. Like, once you build the habit of just 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, then you work yourself up to an hour, then you work yourself up to 2 hours. It just comes really naturally, and then it gets to a point where you're like, if I wasn't working on my art every day, something would just feel wrong. So don't expect you to be like working 4 hours a day on doing this project and you get the project done. Like, no, that is not going to happen. You just need to kind of freestyle it, you know? Oh, the proportions on this really. No, we're calling it chibi. I feel like I was really influenced by like digital art on the internet when I was a kid. And I feel like chibi was a really big style trend that I never actually really could draw chibi. Like, I feel like it never really clicked for me exactly how to get the proportions right. But I feel like I'm coming back to it now. I feel like it's almost like mannerism in a way, maybe, because yeah, I don't really like figure drawing anatomically correct figures, and I feel like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because I think throughout a lot of history, a lot of artists were not really I think people look at it and they say, oh, they're so stupid, they didn't know how to draw people, like why did they make the forehead so big? It's like, no, I think that's just part of the style. Like, it accentuates certain things. I don't know how to say exactly. I think I should return back to the conversation topics and not go off topic again. Um, Accepting compliments and gaining confidence. I think that this is a really important thing as a beginner artist. And even like more advanced artists, you'll notice that they can't take a compliment. And it's just this lack of confidence that is just can be so off-putting. And it's like, if you're having trouble selling your art, and you really lack confidence, like, I wonder why. Like, like that's the thing you should be working on, because so many people be like, oh, like just not very confident in their work, and if you try and compliment them, they'll try and deflect it, which, this is very natural. Like, it makes sense why someone would do that, but it's something you need to work on. That if someone compliments you, just say, yes, thank you. Don't try and argue with them, please. And gaining confidence. Yeah, like, just, you're a great artist. That's it. That's all there is to it, okay? Like, I mean, obviously you still want to be improving, and like, don't be prideful about it, but um, you know, you're already a great artist. You don't need to worry about that. And giving compliments. Okay, like, it's definitely good to, like, gas people up around you, but one thing that you should really avoid doing is idolatry. And this is something I've struggled with. Okay, like, do not be in awe of your fellow creators, right? Because you can do that too. When you're in awe, it's like, oh, I could never do that. Like, you're just so incredibly. And also, it honestly comes off as a little bit disingenuous too, because then the person hearing this will know, like, all the work that it took them to get there, and they know that, yeah, you could do it. So acting like they're some superhuman, it doesn't give off the right vibe to them, and then it also, like, it can actually, like, damage your confidence too, because you're acting like they're a god among men, when really it's like, if you actually put in the work, like, you could be doing it too. So yeah, avoiding idolatry in general, like, and living and dead artists too. Like, obviously I think we idolize dead artists a lot more, but for sure living artists can be idolized. And like, there's a way to just be like, cool about it, chill about it, and like, not understating someone's work, but just being kind of honest. Like, really, when you're talking about other people's work, just try to be honest. I don't think it's that hard. Okay, goal setting and aimlessness. Okay, I'm going through the topics way too fast. Like, I think I'm gonna run out of topics before I fill this page up. And I had multiple pages ready because I thought I was gonna be going faster, but since I'm talking so much, like, I'm drawing a lot slower than I usually would be. But it's good because I'm not thinking as much about what I'm drawing. Like, I'm just letting go. So actually, this is pretty cool. I'm kind of enjoying this process. Goal setting and aimlessness. So, I'm struggling with this, right? Because I think it's important to have a degree of ambition and sort of know what you want in life, to a degree, obviously. But at the same time, there's so much you just can't control. And then if you get too locked into your goals, like, you might, like, you don't really know what's good for you when you're like in your early 20s, right? So I'm like, the goals that I'm setting now, like, it might kind of be off. Like, maybe I should just be going with the flow. And like, I don't know what my ambition should be. Like, what the heck? But I think that there are like some simple things you can do to, like, give yourself some more confidence if you're feeling aimless, is that there are always things you can do that is going to be a good idea no matter what. And so you don't have to worry about, like, is this getting me closer to my goal? Like, you should just do it anyway because it's going to be good for you. For example, dedicating several hours a day to practicing your craft. And, like, yeah, maybe you could be going off topic a little bit, like, you're dedicating some time to, like, I don't know, like, writing poetry, and then you're like, oh, God, this poetry thing is so stupid, like, I should have just been focusing on drawing. But, you know, it'll still pay off in a way, because it's still creative practice, right? And, like, going out and doing events, meeting local artists, putting yourself out there, it's all practice. Even if, you know, you meet people and they're not doing the type of art, and they might not necessarily be helpful in your network, but, like, you never know. You never know. But it's still great practice to just start pitching yourself as an artist. Like, when someone asks you, like, what's your vibe as an artist, you should be able to answer that, like, very, like, succinctly. Like, don't be going on about, oh, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I mean, that's what I say, right? And it just comes off, you can just see people's faces. They just are so disappointed in you. But if you just have, like, a really kind of clear artist statement, vibe, goal thing, you know, obviously easier than it sounds easier than it is. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this color combo because I hadn't actually tried it out before, but then I was writing my journal with this one, and then I wrote, this is the one I usually use, and I looked at the pages next to each other. I was like, wait, that's so pretty. It'd be good for drawing. And yeah, this is my daily driver for journaling, the fountain pen. I have been journaling daily, 3 pages a day every morning since September. So that would be September, October, December, January. Did I miss any month? November? September? God, 5 months or whatever. Anyway, passage of time. You know, I don't believe in all that stuff, whatever. So I would recommend daily journaling though, and like unstructured. Like, obviously, like, I'm an artist, so I'm gonna say this is flow of consciousness. But I think that's the best way to just sort of get all your stuff out there, and you're not overthinking it. You're not writing about, like, what you're worried about. I mean, you are, but, like, you're not picking an issue and saying, I need to write about this, you know? You're just kind of writing about what comes to mind, and, like, you'll get so many interesting insights. And write down your dreams, too. Duh. Like, obviously I'm gonna say this as a Jungian. Yeah, and it's just so fun reading back your journals and just be like, what was I on? And, like, I was reading mine today and I was like, oh my God, I have to burn this. Or, you know, like, better is like, I have to publish my journals before I die so that no one's curious and reads my journals when I die. They'll think, oh, it's all in the published anthology, right? But joke's on them is that I edited it so heavily that, like, they don't really know the full extent of all that stuff that's going on in there. I mean, you know, not that I have anything incriminating or anything, but sometimes I just say stuff and I'm like, man, what the heck was I talking about? Like, and, you know, I'm becoming a better person as I journal too. So, like, definitely, like, some of the things, they have this kind of tone to them where, like, going back, I'm like, oh, okay, like, I definitely wouldn't have phrased things that harshly, perhaps. So yeah, daily journaling practice has been great for me. And it helps you find your voice as a writer too. And so does making YouTube videos, of course. Helps you find your voice. It's like vlogging, you know, blogging. The OG blog, the journal, the pen and paper journal. And it just feels good to, like, feel the nibs scratch on the page, you know, just like writing. So yeah, get yourself a nice pen. The journals don't really matter because, you know, you'll fill up a journal in a month or whatever. Just buy a cheap dollar store journal, but buy yourself a nice fountain pen. It just makes it feel more special because then you always want to pick up the pen, right? And then you're finding an excuse to write. And doing it in the morning, it's like you should be meditating in the morning too. I don't really do that too much, but I write every day. But, like, yeah, do it in the morning because it just, your mind is more empty. It's when your mind is most malleable too, so it stops you from going on your phone and just doom scrolling first thing in the morning. No, like, don't do that. Go and pick up your notebook first thing in the morning, your journal, and it'll set the tone for your day a little bit better. You'll be a little more reflective and self-aware, and you're not immediately going to that zombie state when you're picking up your phone and you're seeing all these messages and or going on social media, God forbid, you know, first thing in the morning. Yeah, like journaling will, it just puts you in, or meditation, it puts you in a better, gets you off to a better start in your day. It's just setting you up for success. And like rereading your own old journals, like I mentioned this, of course, you get so many more insights when you're reading them later, especially with your dreams too, where at the time you're like, huh, this felt like a really like numinous or like important dream, but you don't know what the heck it meant at the time. And then you go back and you read it a few months later and you're like, oh, but then, and it makes you better at interpreting your dreams in the future. So it's really, it's really useful in that way. Yeah, I'm really liking this color combo. I feel like I should be going with black too, though. I feel like it could look good. Maybe not. Something that I was thinking about in my journals lately, the fear of commanding attention. So I would say this is something that like definitely developed in my childhood, is like that if you're trying to get people to pay attention to you, that's a negative quality. Like it's vain, it's you should really be put in your place. Like you should be humble, So then I developed this fear of like anything that could be considered getting attention. And you'll definitely see like people are still would say this is like, if you're posting a selfie, oh, you're like attention whoring or whatever. But there's nothing wrong with commanding attention, okay? That is a way of you using your power. And you're exerting your influence on the world, and you're using your creativity to catch people's interest. And I think that's a really good thing. And you should not be afraid of getting attention, because attention is it's your way of being real. If no one pays attention to you, it's like you're not participating in the real world, which I think is okay. I mean, it's okay to kind of go into your spiritual world and not really exist for a little bit. But if you're the type of person who really wants to exist in the real world, that means having people pay attention to you. So you shouldn't feel guilty about it, because it's gonna happen. If you're making moves in your artwork and in your community, you're gonna be catching people's eye and you're gonna have people paying attention to you. That's just how it goes. So don't worry too much about getting attention or hiding away from attention too much. Like don't intentionally force it or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like, don't feel guilty about it when it happens. Don't feel guilty about wanting attention either. Because especially if you've really been working on your craft, right? It's normal that you want to be recognized for it. That's something that I kind of realized recently, is like a lot of my desire in life and my motivations in art is that I want to be recognized. And, like recognized by my peers while I'm alive, and recognized after my death as someone who was an artist. Yeah, I just want to have that sense of recognition. Some things that are connected to that, of course, are like fame and notoriety and that sort of thing. But I think it's this base of like, of just being seen, of just being like, just like asserting yourself in the real world, of just like, yes, you are an artist, or yes, this is your creative statement. Yeah, it's definitely like, I didn't realize that was exactly what I wanted until I really started reflecting on it. And then I saw like a lot of things that were connected to that, of like my motivations for doing certain things. It's like, and it can be, there's a negative side to this, of course, which is the need for validation or approval, which you need to really, really only get validation from yourself. If you're looking for validation in the external world, you're always going to be lacking something. You always need to find that internal validation first. You need to build a confidence first. And then the validation that you receive in the world will kind of be more like an affirmation, like a yes, like agreeing with you. But if you don't have that confidence first, then you're never going to get, like, and you're not going to believe it too when it comes. Like, people will be so insecure about their art, and then they receive a compliment, right? And they just deny it. So that compliment that could have been the validation, it's nothing, like, because they've denied it. So you need to believe things to be true before anyone else can actually validate it to you. I saw this like retro video about clowning, and it was all these rules for clowns, and it was like don't smoke, don't drink, don't chew gum, don't spit, and don't go out in partial clown. Like you should be out in full clown if you got part of the clown makeup or the outfit on. And, you know, that was kind of interesting to me, but now I feel like I need to invest in a clown costume. Because I'm just in my plain clothes with the clown makeup on. I mean, I haven't actually worn it out in public yet or anything, but if I did, then I don't want to spend money, man. Oh, but you can actually thrift so many clown outfits. I went to this like vintage place where they just have these bins full of clothes, right? And it's by the pound, and they had like dozens of clown outfits. It was so weird. Because I feel like I can't remember the last time I saw a clown in real life. I guess it's more like at kids' birthday parties or something, or like you have to seek out the clowns or something. I just feel like I was just surprised by the ratio of clown costumes. But I feel like a lot of them were like a little too big for me. But I mean, obviously you could tailor it. Anyone can sew. It's so easy. Yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have the things you want. It's so easy to just find things. You know, you like a band you like. I mean, no, you should be supporting them, but like if they're a rich band, okay, and they're not making merch anymore, don't go on eBay spending so much for this retro, you know, whatever. Go buy yourself a black t-shirt and like some bleach and a brush, and you just DIY it, and it's so much cooler. In my opinion, whatever. But, sticking to a medium, that's a conversation topic I had planned. I feel like I kind of bounce around a little bit. I mean, I'm still playing, I'm learning, I'm experimenting. There's nothing wrong with it. But I do feel like there's a certain amount of depth and discipline that it takes to really master a medium and stick to it. Because I was already like, oh my gosh, I want to buy gouache. I want to make paintings. But it's like, man, I just invested all this on ink and pens and stuff. Like, I got to at least master the pen first before I'm out here buying $50 of gouache or whatever, you know? Like, I didn't realize gouache was so expensive, but I mean, it's kind of a given. I'm like, I don't know why I was so naive about it. I think I just get sticker shock at everything, every single time I go to the store. I think I just have a really strained relationship with the concept of spending money. My hard-earned dollars leaving my pocket. Especially because I'm throwing away so much of it on rent, but whatever. Sticking to a medium, yeah, it's kind of like, it's like anything. It's like sticking to a spiritual path, right? Like, you can't just bounce around looking at all these different belief systems. Oh, there's truth in every belief system. Yes, but you're not gonna find like a really good amount of personal truth and personal like benefit unless you actually like pick one and go deep into it. Like depth is real, okay? You can't glean everything from a 20-second TikTok, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you need to read a book. You can't glean everything from a 3-hour masterclass. Sometimes you need to spend years studying something for that depth of knowledge. And yeah, this definitely extends to any sort of creativity. And of course, having a established creative practice will speed this up for you because you're putting in the hours, right? And like I'm not even someone who's that much of it. Like I don't have a studio or anything like that, and like I'm just sitting in my room drawing. But it's, you know, it also proves to yourself that you're disciplined when you just stick to something for a long amount of time and get that depth of knowledge. And that is just such a boost to your confidence that it like it's beneficial even, you know, not just the knowledge, you know, but the activity, the practice of accumulating, you know, like anyway. Okay, I'm on to my last conversation topic, but what are we at? Oh my god, this is only almost half an hour. Like I didn't realize time flies when you're drawing, right? Like I could draw for 4 hours and then sit up and be like, oh my god, you know, I didn't even realize. So I'm gonna wrap it up with my last conversation topic. I'm glad. I thought I was gonna have to come up with more, but no, we're wrapping it up. And the topic is flat affect and fake smiles. I'm someone who has struggled with flat affect a little bit. Like people might say I'm kind of robotic or like, I don't know exactly how people would describe it. Like Eeyore maybe, but I'm not depressed, right? I just have that chill alternative girl vibe is what I would call it. But no, like, and then this translates badly to customer service because I've worked in customer service for a few years. Like I feel like customers, like I'm not nice to customers. Like I'm nice, I'm very kind. I just, yeah, I don't think people like it when you're not smiley. What they want is charisma and smiles, and you really care about them. And like I do care about how people's day are going and stuff like that. And like I think there's kind of like a subtle unconscious energy vibe that you don't even have to be like, "Hey, how are you?" Like you can just the subtlety of it. But no, I'm really trying to work on it. So I've been doing my customer service like voice and smile and all that. But like so then I go and visit my mom, right? And then she's like, "Why are you smiling at me like that? Like what's so funny? Like it's so weird. Like what's wrong with you?" Because she's not used to seeing me smile. But it puts people at ease a little bit more when you smile, which just kind of sucks because it's like sometimes I forget that I'm not smiling, and then I feel really guilty about it, and then I force a smile, and it's just like, damn, it sucks that I have to do it. Like, maybe putting in effort is just that's just the human. That's just it. You just have to play the social game, and not be a freaking weirdo who doesn't smile at people. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, please like leave a comment if you actually watch this. I feel like because you can see like the viewer retention numbers, and like it's okay. I'm not my feelings aren't hurt or anything, but people are not watching the whole way, so they're not even hearing when I get to the point where leave a comment. They're gone, which I don't really care. Like I'm doing this for myself, because I need to learn how to talk and like sell myself, and not like, but like it's like my artist statement. The video is an artist statement. So yeah, if you have any thoughts on anything or whatever, just leave a comment. Um, and like maybe like make a video like this yourself, and you'll realize how much fun it is. Because I'm having a great time right now. Like I don't even want to stop, but I'm being conscious of everyone's time, so I'm gonna stop. And I'm gonna upload like a speed paint of this or speed draw to my Instagram. So check that out if you have Instagram. What day is it today? 25th. All right. Thank you for watching.